Caribbean islands. How do we get to the Caribbean islands?
Don't know, innit?
When we look back in history, what were the events in history that says our people? How do we get to the Caribbean islands? Like, what sort of transportation?
See, me and my brethren have these debates all the time. Like, they believe like we're Aboriginal.
We was there before.
I don't know. I believe we're all from Africa anyway, but who knows, innit? Like, I weren't there. I just see if we weren't there.
Obviously, that
We
could have not just appeared on the land, innit?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere and teleported there, so people had to have been brought there or went there, you get me? So, how did those people on those islands now get there is what we're trying to show you. That's it. We know, you get me? We're going to tell you right now.
Let's show you one or two things, brother. Because as a nation of people, we say we're from the Caribbean islands. Some of us call us Jamaican and so forth.
Yeah.
But when you look back in history, you look at the events in history, we went over to those Caribbean islands on cargo slave ships and so forth through hardcore bondage. But I'm going to show you something now in the Bible. Give me Deuteronomy. Give me 1 and verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Are you familiar with Moses? You know who Moses is, right? You're familiar with Moses. So in the book of Deuteronomy, Moses is speaking to the Israelites. Give me verse 28 and verse 15.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses,
All these what?
all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So Moses is saying to the Israelites, if you don't listen to the Most High's commandments, a set of curses will come over the Israelites. Now we're going to show you some of these curses, and we're going to look back in history and say, which people did these happen to over time? Now give me verse, let me give 68 again.
Is that a camera phone?
Yeah, it's a GoPro, you know, for that. Just for education. If you don't want to be filmed,
Yeah,
we can take it off.
Yeah, that's no problem.
We'll pull it to the floor, yeah,
Yeah,
alright?
Yeah,
Alright, bro.
Keep reading.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Now the word Egypt is a Greek word which means slavery or bondage, but I'm going to prove it to you out the Bible though. Give me Exodus 20 and verse 2, please.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2.
Won't keep you too long though.
I don't mind these combos.
You don't mind these combos or praises?
That's good, man.
Go on, then.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. So the word Egypt in the Bible is a Greek word, as I said, which means bondage. Now go back to verse 28 and 68.
Verse 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt
Into slavery.
again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
So that Moses saying to the Israelites, not listen to the Most High's commandments, you're going to go into slavery again on cargo slave ships. Now, which nation of people went into cargo slave ships during slavery? It was us lot, innit? That's right. Keep reading.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Saying you won't see your homeland again, because we don't know where our homeland is right now. You understand? That's why there's so many debates and where we're from, and no one don't really know.
That's right, bro.
Keep reading.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
Sold unto our enemies. Now, which people, which nation of people took us on cargo slave ships? Looking back in history, it was the Europeans, the Romans, and so forth.
A part of the reason why we don't know where we come from as a people as well, it's in the scriptures too. So what we're trying to bring out to you is that our history is in the scriptures, you get me? Our actual heritage is these scriptures. We are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, you get me? Jeremiah 17 and verse 4.
So where are they coming from though?
They're coming from Egypt. There was in slavery in Egypt, you get me?
But then, she's saying it all began in Egypt.
It all began from a man called Jacob, you know what I mean? His name was changed to Israel. That's why the man that descend from me are called Israelites, you get me?
Right.
I do follow the Egypt side of things, to be fair. I don't know if it's all true, but you know about Isis and Cyrus and all.
Those are like Egyptian gods that we was worshipping when we was in bondage. Like today we're worshipping Allah, and you'll see us worshipping white Jesus and things like that because we're in slavery in their land, innit? But this ain't the God our forefathers knew. You understand? When we go into Deuteronomy 28 and verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. So it goes into we're going to be scattered among all people, innit, brother? From one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So our forefathers never knew these gods that all these heathen are worshipping, you understand? Which we're indulging nowadays. It says wood and stone. What's wood and stone, bro?
Wow. idols and that.
Yeah, exactly.
The wooden cross that we worshipping today in Christianity, and the Kaaba stone we're worshipping.
Walk around and kiss it in Islam.
That's right. Bring it out, bro.
That's right. You want to get Jeremiah 17 and 4?
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4.
This verse is powerful. Read that, bro.
And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
Now, what does the word discontinue mean? That's right. Read that from the top again.
And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
Right? So yeah, as a nation of people, our history and our heritage are being stripped from us. That's why as a nation of people, we don't know who we are. I could walk up to another brother now and say, what's your nationality? He'll say I'm black when black's a colour. You understand?
Or he'll say I'm a nigger or a negro, you understand?
Exactly.
Or he'll say I'm a West Indian or a Haitian when we all come from one place.
Exactly, that's right. So so it was a curse on us as a nation of people, because we're so disobedient to the Most High. Our ancestors weren't listening, and as the brother brought out, was worshipping other gods and so forth. Our history and heritage was stripped from us. That's why we're all confused in these last days.
What about like Somalians and that though?
Nah, they're ham. They're the people that we call Somalians and them things nowadays. They were the ancient Egyptians. You understand? The people who are in Egypt today are Arabs. You understand? They took their land, so they had us in slavery.
I think Exodus. I think it's 11 and 7.
Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7.
Let's see that.
Have a good look, man. Up here.
Yeah. Read that one.
But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue.
Read.
Against man or beast, that ye may know how the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians.
The Egyptians and the Africans, read.
And Israel.
So there's a difference between the Israelites and like people from Somalia, and they descend from, is it Ham?
Ham, right.
That's right. So we're not the same people, because the Most High put a difference between us and the Egyptians and the Africans and so forth.
How can there be a difference? Like, why would there be a difference?
Yeah, let me show you. This is why there's a difference. Deuteronomy chapter, is it 32?
Are you looking for? Oh yeah,
30 and
verse 8.
Yeah, 32 and verse 8.
Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. No, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations, their inheritance. When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
So that's right. As nations, we're meant to be divided. We're not all meant to be the same people. I know there's a confusion of faces when you look at like the Africans. You think there are people, but they're not, because they have like rougher skin than us. You understand?
Right. And they never.
I don't know, bro. Like, either way I see it, when all our hair grows the same way, all one people.
Nah, because you can get albino and them things there, which the hair grows.
But their hair still is like, it's not
but
straight.
like an albino has got white skin, it's got the same hair of us, but it don't look like us, but it's our people. You understand? There's confusion of faces. It doesn't matter what you look like. It comes from where you patch your lineages.
You have to descend from a certain lineage, like a bloodline. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to be an Israelite. You understand? So it's a bloodline who are people who you descend from that determines who you are, not just phenotype.
Right. It's not about that. And I was going to show you something here, innit? Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. So this should make more sense to you right now. This verse right here.
That's right. Bring it out.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. So remember, Moses is speaking to the Israelites in Deuteronomy, right? So we're speaking to them now. He says, again, I'm going to read it again. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Holy means separate, set apart people, right?
That's right.
Different to everybody else, right? The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
See, it said above all people, not equal to, not the same as, above all people.
Holy means son.
Now, holy, it means separate. The word holy does in the Bible.
Sure, like Holy Bible and that, it means like son book.
Nah, it just means separate. So like, when he's saying we're a holy people, we're a separate people. You understand?
See, like, there's too much different.
We can get the definition of it.
Get the definition if you want.
Go on Google and get the word holy.
Like when people say the Holy Bible, it just means son book.
Son book.
Yeah.
Why would like if we read that again? Yeah, we read it with the definition that you just made. Yeah. For thou art an holy people, so thou art a son people, bro. That don't make no
It
sense.
doesn't really make sense.
Read that.
But then it could be from God, innit? Like, obviously the creator created the sun and that, so we could be the sun from how his shape.
And that because the verse puts it into context, you get me? Let me read the whole thing. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. So he's saying you're a special people. So the holiest can't be son, you understand? Because why is it saying special people? It's saying special people because you're different to everybody else. Understand? So the definition we're giving you for holy is set apart. You get me, bro?
Okay.
Understand?
Right. Oh, do you want me to bring out some commandments?
Yeah, bring something out.
Yeah. So if you got any other questions, you understand now, according to
loads of questions.
Yo, there's enough questions.
There's going to be enough questions.
I'm a deep thinker anyway, so like all me and my brethren, all we do is like debate and look at
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Like there's loads of stuff that don't really make sense.
I understand. What you need, as we've been bringing out today, we all can agree on one common ground that us as a nation of people, not these other nations, we don't know who we are right now. You understand?
One reason why I brought out, why we're a holy people as well, set apart and above our nations, because don't you see how we dominate everything, bro?
We do.
How we're the best at everything that we do, fam.
reason
Everybody
for
wants to copy us. Everybody wants to move like us, because we are the chosen people, the Most High chose to rule over these nations. You understand,
But then
brother?
we don't even know ourselves.
We don't know, bro. You get me? We don't know. That's why we're out here trying to show our people.
Yeah, that's alright.